Chapter 4: The Silent Gambit. Samir's world had shrunk to the confines of his office and home. Every move he made was carefully watched, and every attempt to reach Riya had been intercepted by Arvind's watchful eye. Despite being surrounded by guards and stripped of his freedom, Samir was determined to communicate with Riya. He just had to be clever about it. The last time he had tried to meet her, he had sent a message, "We'll meet tomorrow." A lot of issues to discuss. But before he could act on it, Arvind had intervened, stopping him from leaving and ensuring the meeting never happened. Samir felt powerless. He had always protected Riya, but now, even he was trapped. Days passed, and Samir knew he had to act quickly. But how? He couldn't write to her, call her, or meet her face to face. Every direct line of communication was being controlled. Then, an idea struck him: he would have to use someone they wouldn't suspect. Ravi, a colleague of Samir's, was someone who had access to both him and Riya. Ravi didn't know the full extent of the situation, but Samir trusted him enough to pass along a message. He couldn't explain everything to Ravi, doing so would be too dangerous, but he would rely on Ravi's discretion to pass a simple, but crucial, message. Samir called Ravi into his office. Keeping his voice low, he said, "When you see Riya next, just tell her this." Samir said, "Initiate a meeting. That's all. Don't explain, don't say anything more. Can you do that?" Ravi hesitated but eventually nodded, sensing the seriousness in Samir's voice. A few days later, Ravi met Riya during a routine office interaction. As they wrapped up their conversation, he delivered Samir's message in the most casual tone he could manage. "Oh, by the way," Samir said, "to tell you this, initiate a meeting. I don't know what it's about, but that's the message." Riya looked at him, confused. "Initiate a meeting," she repeated, her brow furrowing. "Yeah," Ravi replied, shrugging. "That's all," he said. As Ravi left, Riya sat there, puzzled. Why would Samir ask her to initiate a meeting? And why was it coming through someone else? None of it made sense. Samir was powerful, more powerful than most people she knew. He had always been able to protect her, to handle things. Why now was he relying on her to make a move? And why couldn't he just tell her himself? She had always believed that Samir could shield her from any trouble, but this strange message made her realize something she had been avoiding. Maybe Samir wasn't as in control of the situation as she thought. Maybe he was just as trapped as she was. The realization hit her hard. If Samir, with all his power and influence, couldn't reach her directly, then something far bigger was happening behind the scenes. And if he was asking her to act, it meant he was no longer able to. Riya's confusion turned to worry. She didn't fully understand the danger they were in, but this message was a clear signal that things were not as they seemed. Waiting for Samir to save her wasn't an option anymore. She would have to act, even if she didn't know exactly what to do. Back in his guarded office, Samir hoped Riya would understand the urgency of his message. He had sent the simplest instructions he could, knowing that Arvind's control over both of them was tightening. The burden was now on Riya to move quickly, before it was too late. Will Riya be able to decode Samir's cryptic message in time? Can she figure out the urgency behind his call to initiate a meeting? What does Samir expect from Riya? Why is he relying on her to act now, and what could be the consequence of her hesitation? Is Ravi truly trustworthy? Could Arvind or someone else intercept Samir's plan and foil the attempt to reconnect with Riya? Why is Samir, with all his power, unable to reach Riya directly anymore? What unseen forces are controlling his every move? How will Riya respond now that she realizes Samir may not be able to protect her? Will she take matters into her own hands, or is the danger too great? Could Samir's message be a trap? Is it possible that Arvind has orchestrated this entire situation to lure Riya into a more dangerous game? What will happen if Riya decides to initiate a meeting? Could this action put both of them in more danger, Or is it the only way to break free from Arvind's control? Will Riya uncover the full extent of Arvind's influence over Samir? How deep does this conspiracy go, and can she navigate the dark web surrounding them? See you again with Chapter 5, Silent Whispers of Love.